This might sound like a very cheesy question, but bear with me here. But does anybody know what's a sister? Anybody brave enough to answer that question? What would you say?
A sister is someone who dedicates their life, a girl who dedicates their life to God, but still goes around like evangelizing and talking about God.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's awesome. Way to go. Round of applause. No, I love it. Actually, I think a great a story that reminds me of is, we live. Some of us live. We start our years at formation in New York, and we live in the Bronx our first year, and there's a school next door, and similar thing. It's like you're talking to kids, little kids, and they're looking at you, and they're saying they have no clue what you are, who you are, and whose you are. And one little kid one day says, "So what's on your head?" And the little girl starts talking about brides and weddings, and eventually she says, "Well, I wear a veil because I'm married to Jesus." And this little girl is only a Bronx 5-year-old kid. She slams her hands on the table, leans forward, and goes, "He chose you." Thanks a lot. But you named it. That not only is every human heart, as Sister was saying, not only is every human heart chosen by God to exist with a particular love and a particular mission and purpose, but in a very unique way, God calls some men and women to be set aside for God alone. And in a particular way, as sisters, we live as brides of Christ. And this is really why we wear the veil, is to proclaim to the world that we are espoused to Jesus, our bridegroom. And it's not just kind of like a fluffy thing, like, oh, it's so nice, just, say that. It is very real. As religious, we take 3 vows to dedicate our whole lives to God. The first vow is poverty, so we basically proclaim that we won't own anything, that we will possess nothing, that the Lord will be our only treasure. We take a vow of chastity, which says that all of the love that I was saving for an earthly spouse will be given to God alone. That everything in my heart that desires love and desires to give love is first completely set apart for Him. And then a third vow of obedience, where my will is surrendered entirely to God's. Which I don't know about you, but I've tried my will and it usually doesn't work. So I prefer choosing God's will. And as sisters of life, as Sister was mentioning, we actually get to take a fourth vow, and this is to protect and enhance the sacredness of human life, um, to proclaim the truth that Sister was speaking about earlier. Um, so yes, this is why religious wear a habit, which is what this is called, so that whenever we are, wherever we are, whether we're in the streets of New York City or walking downtown Louisville, everyone knows that she belongs to God and she actually belongs to me. Because a sister is not only a bride of Christ, but she's a mother to all souls. So you belong to me, and 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 every one of you has a place in our hearts. And our lives of prayer, our lives of ministry are actually for you, for your good, and that your life would be protected and honored and reverenced, and that for all eternity you would be with God. So it's a great gift. And in a particular way, on Our Lady's Day, um, we remember her, and please God is religious. We're a sign of the Blessed Mother as well, who said yes to God, and whatever vocation God calls you to, obviously, He asks for that yes, whether you become married and have a family or become a sister. We look to Our Lady as the model who says, "Behold, I am the handmaid of the Lord. Be it done unto me according to your word." And part of the reason why we actually wear blue in our habit, this is called a scapular, and part of the reason why we wear the blue is really for the Blessed Mother, to honor her and to look to her as our model and our guide. So that's a little bit about what a sister is and what she does. And we'll open up for more questions at the end if you have specifics for us. But I thought I would actually turn it over to Sister Elena just to share a little bit about